So I picked this one up because I'm still riding a decade-long deep-sea thriller kick. Written by Paul E. Cooley, a Parsec award-winning horror podcaster out of Houston who also happens to be a software developer, this book is called The Black. I guess it's book one of Cooley's Black series, which I probably won't get around to until, well, ever.
And that's the game!
Anyway, I was expecting a wild, grounded creature feature, and as you can probably guess, it was a mixed bag. The research was solid, maybe even overqualified, but the pacing drags and the supporting cast is thin and completely forgettable. So unfortunately, those two hangups really undermine the book's chances of becoming something great. So while I work on this thing I'm working on, I figured it would behoove us to discuss The Black and where exactly it succeeds and stumbles. So with that, let the multitasking begin.
Let's roll.
The novel follows the crew of the Leaguer, an experimental deep-sea oil rig drilling more than 5 miles down. And lucky for them, they find an oil field bigger than the entire country of Saudi Arabia. Sweet, pure, record-breaking crude, except it isn't crude at all.
Oh no! What happened?
It bubbles on its own, it moves against the current, and in one genuinely disturbing moment, it grows a thin stalk with an eye on the end of it. Turns out something unmistakably hostile has been living in the oil for a very long time, and drilling into it was, predictably, a bad idea. Kind of reminded me of The Thing crossed with The Blob, if those movies opened with 40 minutes of information on mud logging and crew shift rotations.
Brilliant!
Character-wise, results are uneven, as I mentioned. The lead character, geologist Shauna Siegler, is okay. Competent, no forced romance subplot, just a professional doing her job while everything falls apart in a hurry. But she's also a bit of an island. The rig chief, Vrabel, and most of the roughneck crew around her blur together into a soup of gruff guy number 2, gruff guy number 3, gruff guy who dies next, etc. When the body count started climbing, I didn't really care, which is a real problem for a scary story. I'm not going to spoil the ending, but I will say it isn't really an ending so much as a handoff. It closes out the rig's story while setting up a companion novel called The Black, Arrival, which apparently follows the same timeline from a lab back in Houston testing barrels of the diabolical crude. I don't mind when a book leaves threads open for a sequel, but it bothered me that a few things were established with real specificity early on. There's a neat detail about how the substance interacts with certain metals that just quietly stop mattering by the second half of the book. For a novel this proud of its technical grounding, that kind of dropped thread hits harder than usual.
Yes, it's all no one is talking about.
Speaking of technical grounding, Cooley got moving as a horror podcaster years before this, and it shows in the prose.
I'm a poet and didn't even know I was rhyming those words.
A lot of the connective tissue scenes have this told out loud, workman-like rhythm. Long stretches of procedural dialogue about drilling operations and rig hierarchy that probably plays great as audio but drags on the page.
What do you want from me?
It's not bad writing exactly. It's just writing that wants to be listened to more than read. And part 1, in particular, pays the price for it.
What do you want?
As a final note, when the creature does finally show up, the escalation is handled pretty well. Cooley doesn't rush the reveal, and the oil turning hostile never feels like an ambush. The tension meter climbed every time the crew did something unnatural. Unfortunately, however, the meter dropped right back down every time we cut away for another round of drilling floor politics. With that said, who is The Black for? Well, I'd say it's for oil and gas folks, saturation divers, or anyone who wants their creature feature to actually know what a mudlogger does before the excrement hits the industrial strength fan.
Nice.
Out of 5 stars, I'd give the story 2, the prose 2, the action 4, the setting 4, the plot 3, the pacing 2, the character arcs 1, and the research 5, for an overall rating of 2.875. Well under my recommended titles bar of 4.0. So yeah, it does not make my approved titles list. But if you can push through the talky first third and don't need every side character to be memorable, there's a cool, well-researched monster story waiting on the other side. But by all means, ignore me and read something else. But before you go, please subscribe and leave a quick comment. Until next time, bye.